Hello students, the practical which we are going to see today is to perform limit test for iron. So the aim for practical is to perform limit test for iron. Now let us see the requirements. So now let us see the requirements which we will require. We will require a pair of Nessler cylinders and beakers, glass rod, pH paper, conical flask, and chemicals we will require are citric acid, ammonia solution, iron standard solution, then thioglycolic acid, sample solution. We would also require butter paper and spatula for weighing our ingredients.
So now let us see the introduction. Limit tests are quantitative or semi-quantitative tests which are designed to identify and control small amount of impurities which are likely to be present in the substance. So as said in the definition, these are semi-quantitative tests. They involve the comparison of opalescence, turbidity or color produced in the test with that of the fixed standards. So now why limit tests are said as semi-quantitative? Because in limit tests we cannot detect the exact amount of impurity which is present in our sample, but here we can determine the level above or below which the impurities are present in our sample, and also they are not qualitative because we cannot find which impurity is present. We can determine only the level below or above which certain impurities are present. Hence, they are known as semi-quantitative. These are carried out to determine inorganic impurities present in the compound. So, some of the examples of inorganic impurities are chloride, sulfate, iron, heavy metals, arsenic. All of them have different principles. Different reagents are used in all the limit tests. For example, in chloride, the reagent which is employed is silver nitrate, and here at the end of the test, at the end of the limit test, turbidity is developed. So we have to compare the turbidity developed in the sample as well as standard. In sulfate also turbidity is developed. In iron, which we are going to study, color is developed, pale pink to purple color, and the reagent employed is thioglycolic acid. In heavy metals, the reagent employed is hydrogen sulfide, and at the end, heavy metal sulfides are generated which are brown to black in color. Limit test for arsenic, it is based on the reaction of arsenic gas with hydrogen ion to form yellow stain on mercury chloride paper in presence of the reducing agents like potassium iodide. So basically what we do in limit test, we take standard as well as sample. Now standard contains predetermined amount of impurities. So we are going to carry out the same reactions in standard as well as the sample. So if the color or opalescence developed in the test is less as compared to that of standard, it indicates that the level of impurity present in the test is less as compared to that of standard. So principle of iron limit test. It is based on the reaction of iron in ammoniacal solution with thioglycolic acid in presence of citric acid to form iron thioglycolate, and this compound is pale pink to deep reddish purple in color. This compound, that is ferrous thioglycolate, is responsible for the development of color. Then the color produced in the sample is compared with that of standard. If the color in the sample solution is less intense than the standard, then sample passes the limit test for iron and vice versa. So now as we have seen, we have added ammonia, then citric acid. So let us see the various roles. Ammonia is added to make the medium alkaline because ferrous thioglycolate is colorless in acidic or neutral medium. So if our medium at the end remains colorless, we will not be able to compare the color, and hence we will not be able to find out the level of impurity of iron, whether it is above or below the standard. So we are going to make the medium alkaline, because in alkaline ferrous thioglycolate will be pink to purple in color. Hence, by comparing the color of standard and sample, we will be able to find out whether the sample contains passable limit of iron or not. But on adding ammonia, what happens? It precipitates out iron. Now, if iron gets precipitated, it will not be able to form the complex with thioglycolic acid. Hence, no ferrous thioglycolate is formed. And if no ferrous thioglycolate is formed, we will not be able to compare the colors. So, to overcome this, what we are doing? We are adding citric acid. Citric acid will form the complex with iron, and it will not allow it to get precipitated out by ammonia. Thus, addition of citric acid is very important. Now here, whether our sample contains iron in the ferrous or ferric form, it is immaterial. It doesn't matter, because thioglycolic acid is going to reduce ferric iron to ferrous state before forming ferrous thioglycolate. So, independent of the valency of iron, whether it is ferrous or ferric, or you can say oxidation state of iron, whether it is ferrous or ferric, we can carry out the limit test. So you can see the reaction ferrous iron plus thioglycolic acid. The coordination compound formed is ferrous thioglycolate, and this compound is pale pink to purple color in the alkaline medium. So at the end, we are going to compare the colors of standard as well as test. Now see, as we have discussed that in principle, we are going to compare the color. So for this, it is very necessary that we take the Nessler cylinder of same size and dimensions. Then only we can compare the color appropriately. Let us see how to prepare various reagents. In standard, we are going to add iron standard solution. So, weigh accurately 0.1728 gram of ferric ammonium sulfate and dissolve it in 10 ml of 0.1 normal sulfuric acid. And finally, we are going to make up the volume to 1000 ml with water. Second reagent which we have employed is 20% weight by weight of citric acid, weight by volume of citric acid. So we are going to prepare it by dissolving 20 gram of citric acid in 100 ml of water. To make the medium alkaline, we are going to add ammonia solution. So we can use the concentrated ammonia solution, but it has to be then handled very carefully. And another reagent is thioglycolic acid, which we are going to use as such. So let us see the procedure. We are going to take two Nessler cylinders. One will be labeled as test and other will be labeled as standard. So remember, we are going to add same quantities of each and every reagent in both test as well as standard. Only the first step will be different. That is, in test, we will take 2 ml of sample solution, whereas in standard we will take 2 ml of standard solution of iron, as we have seen in the previous slide how to prepare standard solution of iron. Then we are going to add 2 ml of 20% weight by volume of citric acid in both test as well as standard. Remember, the citric acid which we are going to use should be iron free. Then add 2 drops of thioglycolic acid in both test as well as standard, or you can say 0.1 ml. In the next step, we have to add ammonia to make the solution alkaline, because we have seen that ferrous thioglycolate requires alkaline medium so that its color is visible. Then we have to keep our Nessler cylinders of both test as well as standard for 5 minutes for the color to develop. Color developed is viewed vertically and compared with that of the standard solution. So now let us see the procedure.
Hello students, we are going to see now the procedure for limit test. we are going to conduct limit test of iron. So first of all, let us see the apparatus required. So most important apparatus required are a pair of Nessler cylinder. As you can see, they must be of same size and same shape. Okay. Next we will require some bunch of pipettes. Then rubber bulb, because we cannot suck the solution through mouth. So rubber bulb is important. Now we are having for our practical the standard solution which contains ferrous. Then the test solution, that is the sample which has to be tested for the iron limit test. Then reagents are thioglycolic acid, citric acid and ammonia solution. And finally distilled water to make up the volume. So now first we will take, I have already taken 2 ml of standard solution in the Nessler cylinder. You can see here the marked standard, and 2 ml of our test solution. So now we will add the reagents one by one. So first we are going to add 2 ml of citric acid in each test as well as standard. So this is now 2 ml of citric acid in standard. And now 2 ml of citric acid in the test. After this we are going to add 2 drops of thioglycolic acid. Now we have to add ammonia solution till our solution becomes alkaline. Ammonia is to be handled very carefully as it is highly alkaline. So now we will add some ammonia in this. Now we will check the alkalinity. I have already kept the red litmus paper here. So as you can see, it has turned blue, hence our solution has become alkaline. So no need to add further. Now we will add ammonia in the test. This solution has also become alkaline. We will immediately close the bottle of ammonia as it is highly hazardous. Now the final step is to make the volume up to 50 ml. See, already the Nessler cylinder has been given the marking, as you can see here, 50 ml. There is also other marking 100 ml. So for now we are going to adjust. This is the distilled water. So now we will make up the volume. So this is 50 ml. Now again in the test we are going to add 50 ml. Now we will add for 5 minutes and we will wait for the color to develop in the both standard and test. So after 5 minutes we observe that the color developed in test is less as compared to that of the standard. So this indicates that our sample contains less amount of iron than the prescribed limits. So we can conclude that the sample passes the limit test for iron.
So as we have seen, the color developed in the test was less intense than in the standard solution. So this indicates that our sample or test solution contains less amount of iron as impurity as compared to standard, hence it passes the limit test for iron. On the other hand, if the color developed would be more intense in the test than standard, then it would have indicated that our sample contains more amount of iron compared to standard. In that case, our sample would fail the limit test for iron. So now let us see some of the questions for synopsis. Are limit tests quantitative or qualitative in nature? So as we have discussed, they are semi-quantitative. it is not very appropriate to call them quantitative, because here we cannot determine the exact amount of impurities which are present, but here we determine the level above or below which the impurities are present. And also they are not qualitative because we cannot determine which impurity is present. Thus these are semi-quantitative in nature. Next question is, why is ammonia added in the ion limit test? Ion limit test is based on the principle of formation of ferrous thioglycolate. The ferrous thioglycolate formed is of pink to purple color. So by comparing the intensities in the test as well as standard, we can determine whether the sample passes or fails the limit test. But ferrous thioglycolate is colored only in alkaline solution. In neutral or acidic medium it is colorless. So to make our medium alkaline, we have added ammonia. Next question is, why is citric acid added? Citric acid is added to prevent precipitation of iron by ammonia. If iron gets precipitated by ammonia, no ferrous thioglycolate will be formed, and hence no comparisons of color can be done. What is the color of ferrous thioglycolate in acidic or neutral medium? So it is colorless. Which color is developed in the limit test for heavy metals? So as we have discussed, it is based on the formation of metal sulfides which are black to brown color. Hence color developed in the limit test for heavy metals is black, or you can say brown. So in this video we have seen the procedure for carrying out the limit test for iron. So once again, limit tests are basically semi-quantitative in nature, which helps in determination of the impurities, inorganic impurities present in our sample. Thank you.